The PMI Risk Management Professional, often shortened to PMI-RMP, is a specialized certification for people who want to understand project risk before it becomes a missed deadline, a budget problem, a stakeholder conflict, a compliance issue, or a delivery failure. This episode is part of the Monday Certified feature from Bare Metal Cyber magazine, where we look at certifications in plain English and focus on what they actually mean for working professionals. For early career cyber, IT, cloud, audit, governance, and technology professionals, this credential can be especially useful because almost every technical initiative carries project risk. Identity rollouts, cloud migrations, security tool deployments, compliance remediation, vendor transitions, software releases, and enterprise transformation programs all depend on people recognizing uncertainty early and managing it with discipline. If this certification is on your study list, a free and complete audio course is available in the Bare Metal Cyber Academy at baremetalcyber.com, complete with a study guide and a second ebook featuring 1,000 flashcard questions. This certification is not just about learning project vocabulary, it is about building a practical way to think through uncertainty. Projects rarely fail because one person forgot a definition. They fail because assumptions were not tested, dependencies were missed, risks were not owned, stakeholders were surprised, or warning signs were visible but not acted on. The PMI-RMP gives professionals a structured way to identify risks, analyze their possible impact, choose useful responses, and keep monitoring risk as the project changes. That makes it relevant well beyond traditional project management. It can help technical professionals become more useful in planning meetings, governance discussions, risk reviews, and leadership conversations. The credential is issued by the Project Management Institute, which is one of the most recognized professional organizations in the project management field. PMI is known for certifications such as Project Management Professional, often shortened to PMP, and Certified Associate in Project Management, often shortened to CAPM. The risk management credential sits within that larger ecosystem, but it has a more specialized purpose. It is designed for professionals who already have meaningful exposure to projects and want to show deeper skill in managing risk throughout a project lifecycle. This certification is best understood as an intermediate to advanced project risk credential. It is not usually the first certification someone should pursue if they have never worked around projects before. PMI expects candidates to have project risk management experience and formal project risk management education, and understand that project work involves competing priorities, imperfect information, shifting constraints, and human decision-making.
The credential can fit several types of professionals. A project manager may pursue it to strengthen a risk specialty. A risk manager may use it to show stronger project delivery knowledge. A cybersecurity analyst involved in a major security implementation may find it helpful for understanding how technical risks connect to business outcomes. A governance analyst, compliance lead, audit liaison, project coordinator, cloud professional, or IT manager may use the credential to become more effective in planning and delivery conversations. It is especially useful for people whose work sits between technical execution and organizational decision-making. The authority behind the certification matters because risk management is not an isolated concept. PMI credentials are tied to a broad project management body of knowledge, defined exam content, professional development expectations, and a global community of practitioners. Hiring managers may recognize the PMI name because it appears often in project management, program management, portfolio management, agile delivery, scheduling, business analysis, and risk management conversations. The risk credential benefits from that larger reputation. PMI also updates its certifications through exam content outlines, job task analyses, current references, and continuing certification requirements. That matters because project risk is not static. Modern projects may involve cloud platforms, security compliance, supply chain dependencies, software vendors, artificial intelligence tools, distributed teams, privacy requirements, regulatory deadlines, and fast-changing business expectations. A good risk professional has to keep learning, because the risks themselves keep changing. Credential holders also need to maintain the certification by earning professional development units over a 3-year cycle, which reinforces that professional growth expectation.
The exam itself tests whether you can think like someone responsible for project risk, not whether you can simply repeat definitions. The current exam includes 115 questions and gives candidates 150 minutes. That means pacing matters. You need to read the scenario, understand what the question is really asking, eliminate weak answer choices, and select the option that best reflects disciplined risk management. The exam rewards applied understanding more than casual familiarity. The exam is organized around 5 major areas. The first is risk strategy and planning. This is where the project team establishes how risk will be managed before the project is too far along. It includes thinking about risk appetite, risk thresholds, roles, ownership, communication, tailoring, and the risk management plan itself. The point is to make risk work intentional, not random. A project that does not define how risk will be handled often ends up reacting to problems instead of preparing for them. The second area is risk identification. This is the discipline of finding risks early and repeatedly. In a technology project, risks might include vendor delays, unclear requirements, weak change control, integration failures, staffing gaps, legacy system constraints, insecure configurations, dependency conflicts, regulatory dates, or stakeholder resistance. A strong risk professional does not only ask what is obviously broken today. They ask what could happen, why it could happen, who would be affected, how serious it could become, and whether the team has warning signs that should be watched. The third area is risk analysis. This is where the team evaluates what identified risks mean. Some risks are likely but minor. Some are unlikely but severe. Some affect cost, some affect schedule, some affect quality, some affect compliance, and some affect reputation or mission outcomes. Some risks also interact with others. The exam may expect you to understand qualitative analysis, quantitative thinking, prioritization, exposure, and decision support. You do not need to turn every question into advanced math, but you do need to understand how analysis helps teams decide where to focus. The fourth area is risk response. This is where risk management becomes action. For threats, a team may avoid, mitigate, transfer, accept, or escalate a risk. For opportunities, a team may exploit, enhance, share, accept, or escalate the opportunity. The exact language matters, but judgment matters more. The exam may give you a project situation and ask for the best response. In that moment, memorizing the category is not enough. You need to understand what would actually make sense for the project, the organization, and the level of uncertainty involved. The fifth area is monitoring and closing risk. This is one of the most important ideas for real projects. Risk management is not something the team does once at the beginning and then ignores. Risks change. Some become issues. Some disappear. Some grow. Some shrink. New risks appear as the project moves forward. Response plans may work, fail, or need adjustment. The exam expects candidates to understand ongoing review, tracking, communication, ownership, escalation, and closure. The larger lesson is simple. Risk work has to stay alive throughout the project. A common misconception is that this certification is only for project managers in the narrow sense. That is too limited. Project risk shows up anywhere people are trying to deliver something complex under constraints. Cybersecurity programs have risk. Cloud migrations have risk. Compliance remediation has risk. Software projects have risk. Vendor transitions have risk. Business process changes have risk. If you work in a technical or governance role and you often see problems coming before others do, this certification can help you turn that instinct into a more formal professional skill. Another misconception is that risk management is just about preventing bad things. The exam also recognizes that uncertainty can create opportunity. A faster delivery path, a reusable control, a better vendor option, a new automation,
or a process improvement may all represent favorable uncertainty. Mature risk thinking includes both threats and opportunities. It asks how uncertainty could hurt the project, but also how uncertainty could help if the team makes the right move.
Preparing for the exam should begin with the exam domains. Do not start by collecting random study materials and hoping they add up. First, understand the shape of the exam. Learn what risk strategy means. Learn how identification differs from analysis. Learn how analysis supports response planning. Learn how monitoring connects back to project control. When the domains make sense, the rest of your study becomes easier to organize. A practical study path should include reading, active recall, scenario practice, and review. Reading helps build the foundation, but it does not prove that you can apply the material. Practice questions help you see how the exam frames decisions. Flashcards can help with terminology, response types, risk concepts, and domain recall. Short repeated review sessions are often better than long cramming sessions because risk management concepts become clearer when you revisit them from different angles. For busy professionals, the Bare Metal Cyber Academy can fit into this kind of preparation rhythm. The free audio course can help reinforce concepts during commutes, walks, chores, or other moments when sitting down with a book is not realistic. The study guide can give you a structured reading path and plain English explanations. The flashcards ebook can support quick review and repetition, especially as the exam gets closer. The goal is not to replace disciplined study. The goal is to make disciplined study easier to sustain. When you prepare, try to connect every concept to a real project you have seen. Think about a delayed vendor, a missing requirement, an overloaded team, a compliance deadline, a tool rollout, a change request, a budget constraint, or a stakeholder who was not aligned. Then ask how risk management would have helped. What should have been identified earlier? Who should have owned the risk? How should it have been analyzed? What response would have made sense? What should have been monitored? This habit helps turn exam language into practical judgment. Time management is also part of preparation. With 115 questions in 150 minutes, you need to move steadily. Practice reading carefully without getting trapped in extra detail. Many scenario questions include information that may be useful, distracting, or only partly relevant. Your job is to find the decision point. Is the question really about identifying a risk, analyzing it, selecting a response, communicating it, escalating it, monitoring it, or closing it? When you can identify the decision point quickly, the answer choices become easier to evaluate. The career impact of the PMI-RMP is strongest for professionals who want to move towards project leadership, risk coordination, governance, program delivery, or management. It can support roles such as project manager, program manager, risk manager, project control specialist, governance analyst, compliance lead, audit liaison, cybersecurity program coordinator, technology implementation lead, and functional manager. It signals that you understand uncertainty in a structured way, not just as a vague concern. For cyber and IT professionals, that signal can be valuable. Many technical professionals are excellent at spotting problems, but they may not always have the project language to communicate those problems to leadership. Risk management provides that language. It helps you explain likelihood, impact, ownership, response, priority, and escalation. It helps you move from saying something feels risky to explaining what the risk is, why it matters, what options exist, and what decision is needed. Hiring managers may view the credential as evidence that a candidate can think beyond task execution. That does not mean the certification automatically replaces experience. It does not. But it can strengthen a professional profile when paired with real project involvement. If your resume already shows technology projects, security initiatives, compliance work, governance responsibilities, or project coordination, this credential can help tell a clearer story. It says you are not only aware of risk, You are learning how to manage it as part of delivery. The credential also fits into a broader certification path. Someone earlier in their career might start with CAPM, a foundational cyber certification, a cloud fundamentals certification, or governance-focused learning. Someone already leading projects may pair this credential with PMP. Someone working in cyber governance, audit, privacy, or compliance may combine it with security risk, audit, or control-focused credentials. The right path depends on your goal. If you want hands-on penetration testing or deep system administration, a technical certification may give you more immediate value. If you want to lead initiatives, coordinate risk, support governance, or help organizations deliver complex work, this credential becomes more relevant. The biggest value of this certification may be the way it changes how you see projects. You begin to notice assumptions. You listen for dependencies. You pay attention to ownership. You ask whether the team has a response plan or only a hope. You become more alert to risks that are visible but politically uncomfortable. You also become better at discussing uncertainty without sounding alarmist. That is an important professional skill, especially in cyber and technology environments where the stakes can be high and the details can be complex. The PMI-RMP is not the right credential for everyone. It is most useful for professionals who already work around projects and want a deeper, more formal risk management lens. It makes sense for early career and mid-career professionals moving toward project leadership, governance, compliance, program delivery, technology management, or security coordination. It is less useful if your immediate goal is purely hands-on technical specialization with no project or governance responsibility. But for the right candidate, it can be a strong bridge between technical work and leadership impact. In the end, this certification is about more than passing an exam. It is about learning how to see trouble earlier, communicate it more clearly, and help teams make better decisions before problems become expensive. Projects will always involve uncertainty. The question is whether that uncertainty is ignored, casually discussed, or managed with discipline. For professionals who want to become more useful in that space, the PMI-RMP is worth serious consideration.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.